If you're tired of not making progress and you're ready to be the artist you know you're meant to be, you're in the right place. You're listening to the Singer's Path podcast. The Path, or Performing Artists Training Hub, will cover everything, including singing tips that actually work, advice from top industry professionals, and life-changing mindset shifts. Out with the starving artist and in with the thriving artist. I'm your host, Sarah Bishop, professional singer, actor, educator, and entrepreneur. I'm not afraid to speak the truth and stop the gatekeeping of quality information so you can actually become the artist you dream of being. So let's get on the path, shall we? Even though we're all on our own journeys, it always helps to have a guide. Hello. Welcome back to the Singer's Path podcast. It's me, your host, Sarah Bishop, and we are here today on the special two-part episode where I am giving a brief intro into a class that I teach across the world. And I'm actually in Costa Rica right now about to teach this workshop at my friend's arts festival, where we really introduce people to what it's like to study the voice and really reclaiming your voice no matter what level you're at, whether you're an absolute beginner singer or you're someone that just gets away from your joy, or you've never allowed yourself to commit to your voice or to commit to singing before. So in this half of the episode, right, the previous episode, if you haven't listened to this, go back and listen. We're just talking about shared singer experiences and people that really haven't allowed themselves to connect with their joy of singing, maybe since they were children, because, their life dreams and goals and things that made them happy got put on hold in order to take care of other people. Or maybe they, just never thought they were that good at singing, or they felt an increased sense of shame, like they could never really pursue it because of all of the programming and things that they've witnessed. So they decided it really wasn't for them. They put it on the back burner, even though they have this secret desire to learn to sing. We talk about people who just feel like they were never really any good, or they maybe thought that they were tone deaf, even though they have it on their heart to learn to sing and express. And we talk about how as children, we don't consider these things, and we don't really think about these things. We just allow ourselves to express. And actually, last episode, you did have a homework assignment to sing a soul song, right? So if you haven't done that, go back and listen, reflect on what your soul song would be, which is basically like your childhood song that you are obsessed with, that just speaks to a level of you that nothing else can. Mine was part of your world and continues to be, will always be part of your world. And just helps you just effortlessly express who you are through this piece, right? And the assignment was to let yourself sing that for once and reconnect with that childlike joy and just be present with any emotions that brought up. So that was the homework assignment. And so if you've done it, in this second part, we are actually going to start to introduce the idea and how to prepare your nervous system for the very weird experience of starting actual voice lessons. Because if you sounded like any of those people in the previous lesson and you are like, you know what, fuck yeah, I'm going to pull the trigger and I'm going to go for it and do something I love, and you've never taken a voice lesson before, it could feel pretty daunting. What am I supposed to expect here? What are we going to get out of, putting our money down and hiring someone or buying this course? Like, what should I expect? And how can I stick with it and not feel like it's so weird that I just want to fall off the bandwagon and not try or give up or feel so overwhelmed, right? So we're going to talk about some things that you might want to expect in a voice lesson if you've never taken a voice lesson before. Again, this will be another really good episode to send to someone that is maybe thinking about taking voice lessons, who hasn't taken voice lessons before, or maybe is a beginner singer. Because it will help them just practice maybe a couple of things that I'm going to mention here so that they understand maybe how it might be a little vulnerable or a little uncomfortable the first time they're in there doing something completely new. Now, I have to let you know on this episode, before I kind of get into making weird sounds and activating our nervous system and learning to regulate and hold ourselves through them, that if you are a beginner singer, or if you're just a singer that, maybe you've sung before, but you just feel a lack of confidence. You don't feel like you want to sing out because you're ultimately not really sure if you're singing the right notes or not. Maybe you're a dancer or an actor first. Maybe like you're a professional performer, but singing just really does not feel like that's your thing. Maybe you're someone that's always struggled with pitch. You're really not sure if you're hitting the right notes or not. And that's really embarrassing. So you just decide not to sing at all. But hey, I mean, if you're trying to do other things professionally and you know that the skill would help you book jobs, but you're really just not sure how to increase your ability to match pitch. Or maybe you're a teacher and you listen to these podcast episodes because you know I be keeping it real up in here, but you just cannot figure out for the life of you how to help a student sing on pitch, or you're just not sure if it's working, or you just hate doing it and you need a method, but like no one is out here teaching you how to teach someone to match pitch. Well, this is for you. Most people think that singing on pitch is something that you're born with. You either have it or you don't. And that's actually not true. It's a learned neurological skill that needs to take place at a young age while your brain's developing so that you actually can understand the physical importance of getting that pitch to body, pitch memory. So it's not necessarily something you have to be born with, but it's something that can be learned, and it's easier to learn when you're developing while your brain is developing, to develop that pitch matching memory. But here's the good news. You can learn at a later age, and true tone deafness, which is called amusia, affects only about 1% of people. And one of the biggest signs of amusia, this medical condition where you literally cannot detect the tones, the pitches, you are deaf to the tones, tone deaf. The biggest sign is that people with amusia don't even like music. It's noise to them. They don't enjoy it. So if you've always wanted to sing and you love music, guess what? Your brain is capable of learning pitch. And that's when I made Pitch and Musician, which is a step-by-step system that retrains pitch memory through repetition, sensation, and awareness, starting at the easiest part of your voice, in chest voice, that speaking register, so that your brain doesn't get overwhelmed and you can really just focus on pitch. And here's the truth. You might be telling yourself, well, I want to get better. I'll just take voice lessons. That'll make me better. Yeah, well, a lot of voice teachers only focus on vocal technique. And this issue at its core, having difficulty or the lack of confidence to hit the pitches consistently, isn't actually a vocal technique issue. Having some vocal technique issues can make you pitchy, but if you have a hard time just matching or being confident that you're in the center of the pitch, you need to do brain training that will be the foundation for the pitch to be a given and be consistent, so then you can make learning vocal technique possible. If your brain is so worried about singing the right notes all the time, you are not going to be able to layer the nuanced direction and the different ways of strengthening your voice to focus on vocal technique. You have to have this brain training done and automatic in order to sound better, right? We got to hit the right notes first. And teachers know that, right? And that's why they're so frustrated if they don't have a system to teach someone on pitch, because it doesn't matter how much you tell someone about breath support or resistance or functional training if they can't hit the right notes. This is the answer. Pitch and Musician helps take that step-by-step training, gets those students, gets those singers, gets you singing the right pitches consistently without worrying about it. This is for beginner singers who have quietly been carrying the stream for years. It's for singers who've taken lessons, but they're still labeled as pitchy no matter what they do because they haven't really done the functional pitch training. And it's for dancers and actors and teachers who are tired of guessing or teaching in the dark. And right now, Pitch and Musician is 30% off with code PITCH30 only until February 22nd. So make sure you get your tush in there and you use that code. Otherwise, this once a year sale is going to be over and you're not going to be able to take advantage of getting over $100 off. And I know when I get on here and I talk about sales, I kind of nail them over the head, but it's because I want to save you money. Like, I literally make more money if you find this later, but I want you to get it at a discounted price to make it more accessible. So whether you're a teacher, you're a beginning singer, you're an actor or a dancer who needs this skill, make sure, again, go to the link below, check out Pitch and Musician, use that code PITCH30 at checkout, get that over $100 off. If pitch has been holding you back, this is the work that will actually fix it. Make sure you get in there before February 22nd, 2026, when this promotion ends. Okay. All right, let's move on. So, again, sending these to our friends and buddies who have never taken singing lessons, but we know that they would love them. Or just if you're a listener and you just are obsessed with singing and music, but you just like never have taken a voice lesson and you don't know what to expect. The way to prep yourself to actually take a voice lesson is to actually share with you a little bit of what the voice teacher will probably do with you. And so that you're not in the dark and you're not like just so concerned and focused on all these weird fucking noises you're going to make. We're going to make some of them here together to get you ready with getting your body equipped with what to expect, right? Now, each teacher is going to use different kinds of scales. And I think it's important to emphasize here, if you listen to the scale that the teacher is singing and playing and it feels overwhelming to you and it's too long and too complicated, just ask for them to play it again. It's not a test. I think sometimes people can go into these voice lessons like almost seeking validation that they're not a fool for wanting to do this to begin with. And like they want to be told that they're good and they're afraid to like mess up the scale or sound bad. You're there to learn, okay? If you have a good teacher and you're overwhelmed with the scale, no one's going to be mad if they have to play it again for you so that you can get the notes, okay? That's something that I always need to tell people that are new. Like, you can tell me to play the scale as many times as you want. Like, I'm not going to get upset with you if you feel overwhelmed and overstimulated in that moment. And if the teacher does have a problem with it, then you need to find another teacher. So let's do some of these sounds that are what you can expect when you're first doing a voice lesson. And I want you to keep in mind, these are probably going to be weird compared to what you've usually done. Although if you're a listener who is a professional singer, these won't sound weird at all to you, but maybe I can give you some explanation on the purpose of them because you've probably done a lot of these exercises before, but you don't really understand what they're doing or why. So we're going to experience it. Your only assignment here is to make the weird noise and actually just start to get in tune, not in pitch, but just aware of your body and what your body is experiencing when you make said sound. That is a really important part of learning to sing that not enough people like emphasize, which is like the somatic, nuanced experience of singing, so that you can actually get a lot faster in your singing experience because you're tuned into the subtle physical changes and differences. If you're numbed out to your body or you feel so overwhelmed or so obsessed with sounding good, and you're not really focused on sensation, you're gonna have an awfully hard time recreating what you learn in your lesson and a hard time like getting better faster. So if you are an experienced singer, let's just practice like noticing where we're feeling sensation, or if it activates like opinions and thoughts around the sound that we're making, and just noticing where that energy is being held and charged in our body. That can be a really good reminder to touch base with those subtle nuances. And if you've never taken voice lessons before, I want you to notice if anything feels activating or triggering or ugly, or you really don't want to be loud, or you really don't want to make that sound, or that sounds really nasty. All of that will be really good data to help you like hold yourself through the vulnerability that exists within a voice lesson, okay? So we're going to start with what are called SOVTs, which are semi-occluded vocal tract exercises. You will most definitely do this with a good teacher, at least as a part of a warm-up. And there's different kinds of buzzes and trills, and they all serve a purpose. Generally speaking, they're a good way to gently warm up your vocal folds without feeling like you're working super hard. And it's just a really nice warm-up. And it helps with back pressure, so it will help be a little bit rehabilitative for the vocal folds. And they can also help with muscle tension. So if you're doing like a tongue trill, that can help with tongue tension. So they have a bunch of different purposes. So, it's not for nothing. Okay. So the first one we're going to do is a lip buzz. So like you're motorboating in a pool, that's the sound that you're making. There's a giant bug bouncing off the walls here in the jungle right now, and it is so far away. I don't know what I could do with it. It's a giant beetle. Holy shit. Okay, well, let's make out like this beetle and make this buzzing sound. I'm just kind of noticing what it feels like in your body and where you're feeling the sensation, or if it feels a little activating. Does it remind you of something? Now we're going to move on to a rolled R. So this is actually your tongue. Now, if you can't do this, you can think of D, 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 the letter D. You're going to say like da, 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 da. That's where the formation of this rolled R needs to come from. It's not the back of your tongue. It's not the back. It's the front. Da, 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 da. That's where the vibration and the roll will happen. So if you can't make that sound, try the da, 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 da. If you can, try to roll your R's. And try to pitch. Where do you feel it buzz? Does it remind you of something? Sometimes these sounds can activate feelings in your chest or like in your neck or in your forehead. So it's just starting to notice there is really no right answer here. And the last SOVT that we're going to do together here is a blowfish. So you're going to stick all the air in your face and make a really little hole in your lips. And you're going to feel like a big balloon in your face. And this can be particularly really good rehabilitative exercise, really good for back pressure to get the vocal folds to come together really easily. So we're going to do like a siren. So just like a slidey sound on this blowfish. Good. So those are examples of SOVTs, or just really weird noises that are therapeutic for the voice or for muscle tension. Okay. That's the summary of those. And you probably will do something like that with your teacher, at least to warm you up. The next thing we're going to do is get familiar with the chest register. So humming and chest voice. Again, if you are an experienced singer, we're just tuning into any other energy pockets that are existing, any other physical sensations, regardless of like, okay, you're obviously probably going to feel it vibrate in your chest, but just noticing other areas of your body when you do that, that can bring you that much closer to experiencing even more subtle changes and having a little bit more subtle control so you could do harder vocal coordinations. So let's all hum together. You'll actually probably notice that if you go lower in your voice, and then you change the pitch, you'll probably feel the humming in a different spot. As opposed to really high, you're going to feel it in a completely different spot. Here's a fun fact. Chest voice is really called chest voice, and head voice is really called head voice because of our perceived experience of sympathetic vibrations happening in our chest and in our head. Not because we have to, like they're happening there. They're not functionally happening there. The effects of the vibration are often experienced in those parts of our body. And so that's why they're called that. Fun fact. So now, speaking of head voice, let's experience a little bit of head voice. Now, this is where people start to get a little triggered, right? What we're really doing here is, if you are a beginner singer or you've never taken voice lessons before, we're kind of trying to trigger your system just a little bit and just notice any thoughts and opinions that we hold around this. A lot of people have stories around their head voice, that it's squeaky, that they hate it, it's too high. Oh, I'm an alto, I can't go up that high. When it doesn't matter, even if you are an alto, you probably have some kind of head voice extension. So really, people are just head voice phobic. So this is where it can start to get a little bit, wishy-washy. So let's just notice what's coming up in us as we start to try to make these sounds. And if we have any stories that come up and where we feel it in our body, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is hooty hoo, like we're a little hooty hoo, like we're a little owl. So let's go hoo hoo, hoo hoo, hoo hoo. Does it get stuck? You're like hoo hoo, hoo hoo, right? Try to really imitate an owl, because that's more or less how to get a good head sound. Hoo hoo, hoo hoo. Now let's try one where we're like little children going down a slide. Wee, wee, wee. I'm a really mellow child, apparently right now. Again, another example of chest voice. Now, as we get more advanced here, guys, you're going to start to do some different laryngeal positions. Now, the larynx is your voice box, okay? It's where your vocal folds are. So we can do really dumb sounds, which will create a lower laryngeal position, like, oh boy, 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 boy. That is a position where the larynx is lower in the throat, okay? Versus what's called a pharyngeal exercise, which is a narrowing of the pharynx, and it has this bright, bratty, brassy sound to it. Nay, 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 nay. Nay, 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 nay. We would use both of those sounds in lessons. Particularly the pharyngeal, the bratty sound can be incredibly triggering for people's systems. So if I'm with someone and they've never sung with me before, and I'm like, let's do a bratty na na nay nay, they're going to be like, what the actual fuck? You want me to sing like that? Like, I don't want to sound like that. That sounds like shit. Like, why would I do that? Yeah, guys, these are all tools, okay? Doing that dumb sound has a purpose to get you to get the larynx in a lower position. The bratty sound, nay nay, can actually help you mix and find better connection because of the pharyngeal element to it. The narrowing of the pharynx makes it easier to bridge between head and chest, okay? So again, all of these have a purpose. And this is, again, even if you are an advanced singer, these are the reasons. These tools should be being picked by your teacher consciously. And if you don't have a teacher that teaches you how to pick these consciously, then you might need to go check out the Discover Masterclass, which teaches you how to do each of the things that I'm talking about and understand how to pick tools for yourself and what they do. Okay? So anyway, if you hate the nay, 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 let's do it again together. Nay, 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 nay. There's probably some kind of story in there about how we can't be too loud or too obnoxious. So just kind of notice that. Let's do one more that's super aggressive as well. A really bratty, like you're going to say nasty. 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 Now, if your body's going, I can't be too fucking loud because that makes me a bad, annoying person, just notice it. Just notice it, especially if you've always wanted to learn to belt or do some like really hard, crazy things like Kelly Clarkson and Mariah Carey. Yeah, the only way to be able to get there is to train using these tools so that you can functionally find the right position. And then later, after strengthening and training it, then you'll be able to find the really cool professional sound that you want, right? But it takes time. And these are like the baby steps. These are the training. It doesn't always seem like that, but it's true. Like this is what you need to use to actually train and condition your voice as a vocal athlete before you just expect yourself. Oh my God, why am I getting so many damn emails? Sorry, guys. But before you expect yourself just to be born being able to do it, that's not true. A lot of your favorite athletes, vocal athletes, have been using stuff like this for years to train this, okay? So that's what it's like. That's what it's like taking a voice lesson. You do make a lot of really nasty ass sounds that don't always sound good. And then it takes a lot of trust in the person that you hired to be like, oh, okay, like this must be going somewhere because I have to trust that this is working, because while you're doing it, it can kind of feel like, where is this going? Like, how could this nasty nah turn into this amazing belt sound? Well, it does. I don't know. You have to look at more evidence and find a teacher who's showing you the cause and effect, the before and after of the training. But I will tell you, after studying the voice now for, oh my God, 20 years, maybe not that long. I mean, I officially started studying it 15 years ago. I'm pulling numbers out of my ass. Yeah, I officially started studying it for myself 15 years ago at like a high level, and then training as a voice teacher for 5 years. Like, I can tell you for a fact, like, this shit moves mountains with people's voices. If you can get your body and your mind around the fact that there's going to be an ugly duckling phase here for a while where it doesn't sound the way that you want it to. But I promise, the only way to build a good voice is through these nasty frickin' sounds. And I wish it wasn't true, but it is. So now that we've made the sounds, I want you to reflect. if you're an experienced singer, where were you feeling not just vibrations, but emotions, stories, thoughts that came up while you were making these sounds? That can be really important data as to where you're hiding and harboring stories about your voice or being too loud or not sounding good. It can really just start with just honestly being present while you're vocalizing. So start to carry this practice in while you're rehearsing or while you're singing to yourself, and put some of your focus during your practice on just noticing sensation outside of the physical subtle nuances, but the emotional sensation and the charge you have around the sound. If you're a brand new singer, if you've never taken a voice lesson before and you're really not sure of what to expect, use this as prep to understand that you're going to go into this lesson with especially if it's a good teacher, and you're going to be making all kinds of weird sounds and they're going to feel so foreign, and you're probably going to feel like, how the fuck is this working? But if you find someone you trust and that you've seen evidence of it working, I promise you it will. It's just about learning to hold yourself and tolerate through maybe not sounding like Kelly Clarkson right away, but trusting the process. Again, reminder that if you're a brand new singer and you're like, hey, I'm really not sure if I'm hitting the right notes or not, or you just really don't feel confident, like you want something like beginner that just makes you feel like at least you're singing the right notes and you can feel even confident going into a voice lesson, make sure you take advantage of the Pitch and Musician sale. Again, use code PITCH30 at checkout. The link is down below. If you swipe up, you should be able to get it. PITCH30. You got to use the code before February 22nd. The podcast listeners are always the first to know about it because I just love spoiling the people that are like super niche and like stick around for like the long form stuff. But yeah, that's it. That's the sale going on. Pitch and Musician will literally help you sing on pitch and give you confidence. Also, fun fact, it also teaches you theory. So you learn music theory and you start to learn to read music that singers need to know. You start to learn like how chords are built and how to sight read a little bit, like understand the staff, so you don't feel overwhelmed with pieces of music. So that's another really cool thing to keep in mind. And of course, for teachers, it is a step-by-step layout plan to really give you a formula and tools like recordings, and it just makes it so streamlined and so easy and so much less overwhelming to teach someone to sing on pitch, and it's a proven method. So with all of that, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you start understanding, if you're a brand new singer, what kind of goes into training the voice. And I hope you give yourself permission to do something you love and really take the leap on yourself, and really start giving your voice some space to work out and just to see what it can do. If you love this podcast episode, make sure to leave us a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts. Send us a screenshot. We'll enter you to win a free voice lesson with me. We're going to be doing a winter drawing here pretty soon, I believe. And so anyone can leave a podcast review. And then once you're in the pool for that free drawing, you'll stay in the pool. It's pretty great. I love it. And I love to give back to the people that are really listening and, care enough to give that divine reciprocity and, feel abundant and really shout it from the rooftops if you love something. So I appreciate you. I hope you leave a review. And with that, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts. This helps me get this information out to more artists all over the world. Let's work together to spread the joys of music. Until next time, I'm your host, Sarah Bishop, signing off from the Singer's Path podcast. Thanks for listening.